We just got back from our own NCAA investigation. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's two guys' take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting live from the HB5 studios right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? Well, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I'm talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina. Most of you probably know him best as the Silver-Tongued One, the 2016's Honorable Mention Father of the Year, the inventor of the Redneck Egg Roll. Give it up on old mic number one. It's Mojo!
Welcome back, everyone. Guess what? We survived the end of the world.
We did it!
So far, the calculations for the Jesus coming back and the destruction of the world is 0 for a billion. I don't know how many times people... So, did you hear about that?
Prophets 0, Jesus still 1.
Yeah, I think he knows the time. Did you hear about that this week?
Yeah,
of course. So, congratulations, everybody. We've survived the apocalypse, the
We
pending
did it.
apocalypse. Yeah. You can also go to Facebook, Southern Fried Philosophy. You can also go to Twitter and Instagram at SFP Radio. Let's get it going.
And our YouTube page, Southern Fried Philosophy, SFP Radio on YouTube.
And I have it written down here in my notes, which is on my other tab.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's like the spelling mistakes I've been making. Yeah.
Mojo, I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week. How you be doing?
Man, what a great week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Finally in business for motorcycles.
Yeah? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we after months and months of trying, I finally have a motorcycle dealership set up in the shop.
There you go.
Yeah, how about that?
Woo!
Yep, so come on down if anybody's interested, hit me up.
So tell me about it.
We're a bike shop. We repair Harleys, and we're also in the Harley resale business. So
how about it?
Yeah, so we'll have some Harleys for everybody, and it's called Busted Knuckle. It's up in Mooresville.
I really thought it was going to go somewhere else.
No, not that. Yeah, but Busted Knuckle, Mooresville, North Carolina. So you can find us on Facebook also, Busted Knuckle. I hope you don't mind me plugging.
No,
so.
You plug that thing like you can.
That's right. So, but you know that, and also what burns my biscuits about this damn thing.
Uh-oh.
Government paperwork.
Ooh.
Oh my Lord. So I've spent a sizable sum that I've had saved up to get licensed.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to school to become a dealer. I had
motorcycle dealer. Just to be clear.
But I think it might have been more profitable to just have been like an ICE dealer or something like that.
You're right.
But no, just the amount of paperwork. I've put almost 800 miles in my vehicle.
You're kidding.
Having to drive up to the Capitol, then having to drive to the county seat, and just back and forth. And I've still got to go back to the Capitol one more time.
How about it?
To turn in some more paperwork. But
and you mean to tell me you've been to the Capitol X number of times, and there's not a sticker, an SFP sticker on that sucker yet?
Well, I cannot claim that.
Okay.
Because
that would be
vandalism. So there may be a couple people that actually have stickers up there, some of our listeners, but I cannot vouch for where they're located at.
All right, so. There we go. Okay.
But no, so yeah, man, government paper. And here's the thing: on the way into the studio today, I passed an ice cream truck.
Yeah. Okay.
Now
you don't like a good ice cream truck?
I love ice cream. I love. It's kind of nostalgic,
Sure.
Childhood. You're riding your bicycle down the street, and all of a sudden you hear that song.
Yep.
Whatever it is, and you wave down. You want the jumbo rocket or bubblegum, whatever.
I'm going to call a timeout. What do you get from the ice cream truck?
Oh, the triple color, the red, white, and blue rocket.
You're serious?
Yeah,
no,
absolutely,
sir.
Absolutely.
No, sir. I'm going Choco Taco all the way.
See, they didn't have Choco Tacos in my area.
Well, then they suck.
I agree. But so you got the ice cream truck bumping along there, and I pass it. Now, this looked like a step up from the no window van that drives down and has like free candy on the side, trying to sucker in kids.
Yeah.
So what kind of licensing did this guy have to go through? Probably nothing.
Zero.
Nothing. I mean, he didn't even bother to take the epoxy from the duct tape from the window that was smashed in. I mean, it's still there. So
Here's the requirement. Do you have a freezer in your van? Yes. There you go. We're good.
that's right. Can you purchase enough product to last a day? Yeah, there you go. I mean, I don't even know if you have a valid driver's license, but I don't know what he had to fill out. But holy crap! And this ain't the only one I've seen. I've seen several of these broke down looking, trucks, man. Or
so
vans.
if maybe you can get in the business of selling motorcycles and broken down ice cream trucks.
I think I'm gonna go to auctions and look for premium ice cream trucks and so I can sell these guys some ice cream trucks.
There
Man,
you go.
But back in the day, they were like very nice ice cream trucks. So I don't know why we trade them in for the traveling meth ice cream van. So
I still get a little freaked out by the Swans truck. I don't know why.
Well, remember there was a few years back they had a huge listeria, and a couple other foodborne illnesses coming out of that truck. So I think that was a big schmear. So I don't think I want some Schwans.
Yeah.
So,
oh well.
Yeah, I don't be the mad pooper later. So how you be doing?
I'm good. You were talking about nostalgia, and the wife and I went to the basement. We actually got to go into the basement, the arcade.
The arcade here in Concord.
Yeah, that is really, really nice.
Is it open every day? Or
it is? It'll be opening on the 29th. So after this podcast airs, it'll be open. You can go downtown Concord, go to the basement. Actually, go by Gianni's,
right.
get a piece of pizza, and then go down to the basement, and then have some drinks, play some games. Dude, really, really nice place.
Nice.
Pinball machines all the way up one side of the building, and then they got the old classic arcade games, and then they have one where it's all kinds of different games in one thing. So you could play, guess what? Contra.
Nice.
Contra is there.
My old friend.
Up, down, left, right. BA select, start.
They have a Double Dragon there too.
I did not see that.
It's probably on that Master Machine, I bet.
But I saw Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
NFL Blitz. Do you remember when that was out?
Yep.
That was the greatest.
That was before the hashtag take a knee, I guess.
You're right. Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah.
Mrs. Pac-Man.
Yep.
Galaga.
Yep.
And there were some other notables there too. So
I can't wait to check it out. Was it reasonably affordable?
25 cents. I'm just saying.
Dang.
25 cents.
If you go to Chumpy Cheese and Dave and Buster's and any of those other big ones, I mean, it's like a $20 bill. It don't keep you long.
No.
So I keep my 5-year-old playing like the stupid games. Like, guess how many numbers this is.
And then you take her to the side and here's a special game.
That's right.
We're just gonna pick our nose for 20 minutes.
That's right.
There's what you're gonna dig for gold.
I'll never forget, man. We took our oldest when she was probably 6 years old. We went up to the redneck mountain pavilion called Pigeon Forge.
Oh yes,
and,
yes.
My sister and her husband and my parents came up there, and I guarantee they probably spent about $120 winning tickets to buy her a stupid stuffed animal.
Seriously,
yeah. So that's how much of those games just suck out of your pocket.
Dude, I think the one that gets me all the time is when it's the quarters. It's only the quarters, and they you put the quarter in and it goes down, and it's little thing goes back and forth, and you could get more quarters.
Yep.
Dude, I'm a sucker for that.
You know what
one.
burns me up though? Burns my biscuits in the arcades?
What's
the ones that take tokens.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
if you have 5 or 2 left over, or
Yeah.
and they don't have a game for 2
Yeah.
tokens, and they want you to come back.
Yeah.
So that's like gift cards that have 69 cents left on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has some nominal amount. You're
Sure,
not
yeah.
going to go back to Cracker Barrel for if you have a $1 thing on it.
Dude, I'm telling you, I went in Lowe's the other day and I found a gift card, and I was
Right.
too lazy to call the number on the back
Sure.
of it, but I strolled in like I was all sharp, and I threw that sucker down like a champ. All right, well, that took 31 cents off your bill. I'm like, son of a gun.
Do you want it back? No, you can cut it up.
Why did they say that? Do you
Yeah.
want the card back? No, I'll just pick one up right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're free right here.
Right.
Just grab them. They won't have anything.
In fact, I'll take 10 right here that has $0 on it. Thank you.
That's
And you will
funny.
charge me 0. So I went to the basement, had a good time. So check it out if you're around. We're not getting plugged for that, but holy cow, it was really fun. So, and it's 25 cents. So you go in and you buy a little cup, $5, and then you just got your quarters.
Oh man,
and
I can't wait.
We couldn't stay the whole time, so just pocketed the cash. I walked out like I got out of a casino with money. I was like, money.
We're gonna put this in the jar for later.
Right, exactly. So it was a good time. All right, so let's bring in some old wacky news.
Ooh, baby, it's making me crazy. It's making me crazy. Every time I look around, every time I look around, it's in my face.
So you actually had a story about the Mad Pooper. Did you want to bring that one up?
I'll let you share that one.
Oh, I think you should bring that one up.
So I don't know if the last episode you heard, or I'm sure if you've been hiding in a rock, this is
News update.
yeah. Besides the big controversy with taking a kneel and not reporting Hurricane Maria, not reporting the shooting in Tennessee this week.
Yeah.
The other story on the news was the Mad Pooper.
We brought the story last week about a woman who's been defecating
Yeah,
on
yeah.
yards.
Give me a little context. I got to pull the article back up.
Sure. So a woman has been taking pictures of jogging, and while she's jogging, if you haven't seen it, she just like drops trowel while she's gets in somebody's yard, drops trowel, and then just poops all over their yard. So they've been taking pictures of this lady. There's been billboards made to try to stop the
They try to embarrassing shame campaign just because they're tired of asking.
Right.
But this is courtesy of Fox News as of today.
But here it comes.
A man claiming to be the spokesman of a jogger dubbed the Mad Pooper, who reportedly has been defecating in lawns all over Colorado Springs, says the woman is struggling after a gender reassignment surgery.
Here it comes.
And she battles a traumatic brain injury. So this is an unidentified spokesman. He made his comments via YouTube, and the YouTube has since been removed.
Sure it has.
But he said that he was speaking on behalf of Colorado Springs jogger Shirley, and said she is sorry for her actions. The man also said Shirley can no longer control herself after undergoing the reassignment surgery. So I really don't want... Oh, the last tip I want to add, just because it's pretty funny. He added the jogger's actions are protected under the First Amendment, and the government cannot control when and where she decides to do her business.
Nope.
A claim that has been blasted by criminal defense attorneys up, down, left, and right. Even the Better Call Saul guys. I mean, just the cheap 1-800 DUI, whatever. It's not protected. So
No, not at all. Because one, that's indecent exposure, right? Just to top off the list, because you can't just do your stuff and that'd be it. Golly. So seriously,
yeah,
that's. I feel like that's probably like a Wikipedia page that can just be.
Yeah, and I'm gonna place $10 on this. I think this unidentified spokesperson is actually Shirley the Mad Pooper.
You think so?
I think this is one of those trolling things. Remember, we had the guy who claimed he was trans species, being the hippo, basically trolled the college. I think this is probably the same thing.
But if it really is an issue, well, I've got two things. One, it's been like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and we still haven't found this person.
Yeah.
Good night. We've got facial recognition. We've
got satellites that can read my license plate from miles and miles and miles above the earth, but we can't identify this transgender jogger now.
I'll go back to what I said on the last show. I feel like I could go rob a bank and just put my finger over my lip and be like, "That's a mustache. You can't prove that."
You might.
Me. Good
Just
night.
make sure
y'all.
you don't wear your logoed polo.
You're right.
They might narrow it down a little bit.
Actually, might bring us some sponsors.
There you go.
There we go.
But no, you think Charmin offering a year's supply of poop paper would probably brought her in, but I guess not. I would jump on that. I'd maybe even take claim if I can prove that I was in Colorado Springs.
Sure.
So,
how much do you think that would be? That's a lot of money.
I have four people in my household, so that's a lot of paper.
Yeah.
So as long as it's the good quality stuff, I don't want the crappy Charmin. Yeah.
You think it's the one ply, or you think they're going double ply?
I don't. I hope it's double ply. I hope it's double ply. The quilted, whatever it is, and
that would be some bad PR.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. There's a whole bit I can get on with toilet paper being thin, but I think I'll pass for now.
There ain't nothing like finally getting to the bathroom, doing your business, and then pulling out that paper, and you got sandpaper on it.
Yep. Or puncturing the paper.
Oh yeah. Oh. Especially after a Mexican restaurant.
Yep.
I'll just let you imagine that.
Or Indian.
Speaking of slimed, a truck spills tons of goo-producing eels. I don't know if you saw this picture. I did not see this. If you ever wondered why they're called slime eels, ask no further. Also known as hagfish, they created a sticky mess when a truck overturned on an Oregon highway, spilling 7,500 pounds of these creatures onto the highway. Unfortunately, the owner of a car, the eels secrete a slime when they're stressed. They were going. This was in Oregon, and they were actually being shipped to Korea for consumption. And I'll have this on the show notes, but I've got to show you this picture of this car that just got slimed.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's like the scene from Ghostbusters when Slimer comes in, you know?
I think it's worse
gosh.
than that.
Well, this is a real life. Yeah, of course.
It don't look natural, Coach.
No.
You know it don't.
It looks like a couple Uber cars after a Saturday night drinking binge.
That's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I mean,
horrible.
could you imagine? And
No.
the thing is these are being shipped to Korea to eat.
Yeah, eel is actually probably the number one edible quote unquote fish, and then probably probably in the entire world. I mean, 'cause Scandinavian countries heavily depend on eel, but yeah, the Asian countries do too. So
Hey, Asia, do you not have enough disgusting things to eat? We got to import you some nasty hagfish.
yeah, well I've had it before. It's not bad, but
Oh, no, you
I've
haven't.
I've never had slimy eel. So, but
I'm picturing like the outside of an okra, like the inside of an okra.
I hate okra, boiled okra. Oh,
Yeah, it's like that, but you're eating like a pork tenderloin with okra on the the
that's
inside
a
of an
good
okra all
description. I
over
think
it.
I'll never have eel again at the sushi restaurant. Thanks.
You are welcome. Or pork tenderloin. I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Seriously, it
No
is
doubt.
gross.
No doubt.
You got another one?
Yeah, I read this about a month ago. I guess it's probably about now in USA Today. Did you know that the nation still actually pays a pension for the Civil War?
What?
Yeah, nation's oldest Civil War pensioner still collects $73 a month.
Attaboy.
From the VA. And now here's where it kind of gets a little thing. The Civil War may have ended 152 years ago, but Irene Triplett. It still continues in a way far more tangible than the recent fights or the Confederate monuments. Triplett is 87 years old. She receives a Civil War monthly check, $73.13 that's deposited from the Veterans Affairs. Triplett is the only sole surviving person receiving a Civil War pension. It was not uncommon during the Great Depression for elderly Civil War veterans to marry much younger nurses or caregivers for financial reasons.
Attaboy.
Often those veterans adopted their new wives' children, making them eligible for survivor benefits.
Makes sense.
So that's basically what happened. Triplett was born actually right up the road here in North Carolina.
Wow.
And another little thing from this article that I found was kind of interesting was that, by the way, the last Civil War veteran actually died in 1956. He was the age of 109.
Holy cow.
And his widow actually died in 2008. She was 93 years old. So there's a little bit of age disparity there, I'd say.
What is this, the Duggars? Like, it feels like it could be a Duggar thing.
But, you know, the interesting thing is that we're still paying this is not the only thing. We're actually paying over 70 people still pensions from the Spanish-American War.
What?
In 1898.
How? What?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
I don't know, but I just found that interesting. I'm a history nerd, but I'm also, government waste, but... this lady actually, God bless her soul, she actually has some mental disabilities. So she's basically been in a, before there was nursing care, there was things called poorhouses. She was actually in a poorhouse, and then she's been moved to nursing care. So she's been in private nursing homes for
Wow.
majority of her life. But she still draws that $73.13. I don't know what she does with it, but there you go.
And I can't even imagine. It's
great.
The things she's seen.
Oh, yeah.
How about it?
Yeah, no doubt. The stories that could have been told,
Yeah,
So.
no doubt. But alas, there won't be a statue to talk about her. Here's another one. So a mystic with, quote, powers to control crocodiles dies after being dragged underwater by, guess what, a crocodile. There is a mystic who claimed to have the power to control crocodiles has died apparently after being drugged underwater by the reptile. A man named by local media as Super Iranto, not so super now, was searching for the body of another man also mauled by a crocodile when it happened. There is horrifying video of it. We will not be talking about that here. But he was just swimming in croc-infested water, claimed that he could control the crocodiles with his mind, and how about that? He was drugged underwater.
Well, it may have been a female crocodile, because I don't think I can control maybe, I can influence other males, but I doubt female species I can do that. So
You think that crocodile is like, you think you can tell me what to do?
you know why it was ornery though? Because all them teeth.
You're right. Oh, now what? Listen, we just had one of these guys come in here, and you can see what happened to him. And you're gonna try this again? Okay, here you go.
What was the guy's name again?
Superanto.
Can you imagine this? Hello, Crocodile Sanctuary. I'm the amazing Superanto. Okay. I can control the crocodiles with my mind. All right.
You think that's how it goes?
He probably had a sequin cape and everything. I'm just imagining, he probably had like one of those like the old shower caps that were, and it probably had like his mother's brooch on the front of it, and probably had like a sequin cape.
I got you.
That was a tablecloth.
Yeah,
and,
I'm tracking you.
And he had a spandex like from the circus.
I'm thinking the cape was probably more like a picnic, tablecloth.
Could have been red white checker. Yeah, probably. Probably even plastic.
Yes, sir.
That did not last too long. Jeez.
I mean, good gracious, y'all. And about a week later, they found both of the bodies floating, and everything was intact. So evidently, the gators weren't hungry. They were just you're swimming with it.
They were ornery.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Because they got on them teeth,
They were ornery.
and they ain't got no toothbrush. So there's some wacky news. All right, so I guess we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to talk about it. Wow, that was loud. Oh, buddy. So if you're keeping score at home, right now we are. Mojo is up by 1 on the NFL
for the season.
for the season so far. Yeah, that's total. You were up 2 this week. I was 1 ahead of you, and then now you're just up 1. And we are even right now with the experts. So.
Right.
Once again, that
small disclaimer. I would not place bets off of our games because
Lord,
last
no.
week we had a pretty horrible week.
It was rough.
We're like the bad news bears of football prediction prognosticators.
Basically, if you want to make money, just take what we say and then just do the exact
do the
opposite.
opposite, yeah.
So that's about it. Are we going to talk about the kneeling, or are we going to wait?
I think we'll wait. I
right.
think our next guest, our guest tonight, will actually have a lot of maybe have some new insight that, from his point of view. So we'll save that. So this week, Thursday night's game is Chicago Green Bay.
Chicago, Green Bay. What did Chicago do last week?
Chicago hammered.
They hammered. Yeah. So I'm going to still go Green Bay.
Sorry about that. I'm going to go Green Bay also.
Okay.
Sunday night, we have New Orleans at Miami.
New Orleans.
Yeah, let's go New Orleans. Okay. Buffalo, Atlanta.
ATL.
Yeah, hot Atlanta. Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh looked horrible, but I'll take Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Cincinnati, Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm going to go Browns also.
Are you really?
Yeah.
How about it?
They actually have been decent looking.
By the way, I'm just picking which city I like the most right now.
Well, I can tell you right now, Cincy and Cleveland, not much.
Oh, yeah,
That's
you're
good.
right.
LA Rams versus Dallas.
Oh, I'm going to have to go Dallas.
Yeah, I'll have to go Dallas also. Tennessee, Houston.
Houston? Which one you doing?
I'm going to go Houston also.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. Looks like we're lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah, so far.
Detroit, Minnesota.
Detroit?
I'm going to go Minnesota.
Yep.
Carolina, New England.
That's a 50-50. That's a toss-up. I'm going to go Carolina because I bet against them last time I lost.
I'm going to go New England.
Okay.
Jacksonville versus Jets.
Jacksonville.
I'm going to go Jacksonville, too, because I just hate the Jets.
Okay.
San Fran and Arizona.
Oh, no. I'm going to have to go San Francisco.
Oh, no.
You're going
I'll go Arizona. Philadelphia at LA Chargers.
Chargers.
I'll go Chargers also.
All right.
I do like San Diego better than I do Philadelphia.
Right.
Even though Philadelphia has good food. New York Giants, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. Eli Manning has passed his prime. Holy cow.
I feel like I could go in and probably not do nearly as bad of a job.
That's right. Oakland and Denver.
Oakland.
Flip a coin on that one. I'm going to go Oakland also.
Okay.
Indianapolis, Seattle.
Seattle.
I'm going to go Seattle also because Indianapolis is getting smoked. Washington, Kansas City.
KC.
Yeah, KC's looking good. So
Yep.
that's our picks for the
That's
week.
it. So
Yeah.
the big games for us are Detroit and you said what is it? Detroit's playing who? Oh well. Detroit, the Carolina New England game, San Francisco and Cards, and we both picked the Chargers.
Detroit's playing Minnesota.
Minnesota. So those are our deciding games for this week. All right. Well, I hope you don't bet, but if you do, then there you go.
On the phone line today for our interview, we have viral media sensation. He's popular on YouTube. He's popular on the Facebooks. It's Mind of Jamal. First time I caught the guy was his segment of videos was during the election, and he just turned on his camera, spoke his mind, and just a true blue collar worker. I'm trying to think of all the accolades I could give him. So welcome to the show, Jamal.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's jump in. You said you wanted to kind of touch on a couple topics. We'll kind of go from there. So first topic is Donald Trump. What's now you're I don't think you make any bones about it, and you're one of our brethren. So you're a black gentleman from North Carolina. You do honest construction work that people need, and obviously I'm sure you've been branded and called a lot of names for your views. So what's your views on Donald Trump, and kind of give us some synopsis of what you think there.
President Trump, we haven't seen a president like President Trump since Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
President Trump came in. He came in with an agenda to rebuild America after liberals have destroyed it and broke it down and took the pure pride out of America, took almost have taken the soul out of America. Because when President Reagan came in office in 1980, we had just had the civil rights struggles in the 60s. Then you had the 70s where everybody was trying to get adjusted. Then Jimmy Carter and all this Iran, everybody was running around trying to apologize for America. President Reagan said no. There is nothing wrong with being America. We are a proud nation. We do not have to bow down to the Soviets. We do not have to bow down to the Eastern Europeans. Now, let's take it to today. President Trump, we have been basically decimated, destroyed by Barack Obama and his chicken head wife, excuse the term, but his wife has sat here and made being an American as if it's shameful or if you have something to hide because you are an American. You don't speak on things where if you look at America, y'all should speak. First of all, America has went around laying our true lives on the line to give people freedom. From World War, when it started all the way back to the Spanish-American War, when we sat down there, we freed the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba, because people understand Cuba was once our territory, Hawaii, and all those from Spanish rule, because the Spanish were cruel slave masters. People understand how cruel the Spanish were to the people of the Caribbean.
That's right.
And we, even though the battleship Maine got hit by a mine, and of course, remember the Maine was the battle cry, but we still went in there and we fought to free them. And here's one thing people don't understand. America has never wanted to be a colonial power because we actually asked Puerto Rico, do you want to become a territory? They said yes. We asked the people of the Dominican Republic, do you want to become a territory? They said no. And you know what we did? We let them go. We didn't say they owe us anything. So when I hear people say that America is so evil and America is so wrong, it hurts because they obviously don't know history. And now we have President Trump. He comes after President Obama has, like I said, have sat here, decimated, destroyed the nation. Our soul, he have taken it all from us, trying to divide us, because now it's white supremacy. Before then, it was white privilege. See, they keep going, they keep trying to change it, and they keep trying to do things to try to make it look like that all white people are the same. And I've said this before, and I won't take it back. If you look at who voted on the 1964 Civil Rights Act, how many of them were black? It was a lot of white people did this. So let's stop sitting up there saying all white people evil. Let's stop sitting up there saying that. When you look at the Civil War, how many of those generals were white? It was all of them. So stop sitting up there. They didn't turn around and walk out when President Lincoln said this was about slavery, because truthfully it didn't start off about slavery. But when he said this will be about slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation, nobody dropped and left. They still came. President Trump is trying to unify the nation. He's not going to kiss behind. He's not going to try to bend over to try to get along with people to do it. When President Trump came in, President Trump is from the 1980s. Anybody know anything about the 1980s? You look at the shows. We had Transformers. You had G.I. Joe. You had Thundercats. It was a pride in being an American. It was a pride in the way we walk, the way we talk, our life. Russians were sneaking in jeans, Lee jeans, Wrangler jeans, because they wanted to be American. And this is where President Trump came of age. And he not say came of age like he grew up, but he rose up in New York doing the business, and he came about that. And he remembered the 80s. And this is what he wants for America. When everybody looked at America as a city on a shining on a hill, a shining city on a hill, instead of what Barack Obama and I have to admit it, George Bush allowed, instead of looking at us like we're rats in a trash can. Because President Bush, if he would have fought back, I love President Bush now, and I will defend him against any liberal. But President Bush should have did more. You know, they've always tried to make it look like, when they say it's beneath the office of the president for a Republican to defend himself. Notice when Barack Obama was going out there attacking people, saying the police act stupidly, saying that white, the justice system is unfair to black people and all that, he always did that. Now you look at the way how President Trump does it. He's trying to get America back to where we have that pride.
Going back to one of the comments you made, the the Civil Rights Act in '64. Well, also that year, LBJ signed the War on Poverty Act. So those two have a hand in hand as far as the decimation a lot of black communities. And now I know that you mentioned the black churches have been taken over, and that's where it kind of started also as far as this liberalization of the community. And kind of give us a little excerpt on that, what you're thinking.
Okay, when the Civil Rights Act was signed in 1964, it was about getting us the right to vote and civil rights. Now, what they did was they recognized they wanted to get a voting block, because if people listen to Malcolm X or when people forget it's two, Malcolm X and Malcolm Shabazz, same people but two different mentalities. Malcolm X had warned about liberals. He told the black community, be careful about liberals, because they're not doing this for the kindness of their heart. They're doing this to create a voting block. And we all know that Lyndon Johnson said, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but Lyndon Johnson said, I got a plan to have niggers voting Democrat for 200 years.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And what the War on Poverty did was it made it attack the family. So now, instead of the black woman in the home with the black man, there's nothing wrong with interracial marriages. And sometimes when I say things like, well, you saying something wrong with interracial marriages? No, I'm just talking about at that time. The family was the structure of the black community. The family was spiritual. You had the father working, you had the mother at home making sure that when the child got out of school, did the homework, made sure if it was Bible study, things was taken care of. And the husband, when he came home, he made sure, hey, babe, what's going on? How are everything doing? And he took care of the home. With the War on Poverty, what it did was it told women, you don't need him. If he leave you or blah, 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 we will take care of you. Now, when that came about, that's when a lot of black families started splitting up, started moving to the inner city, started moving from the rural area, started moving toward the inner city, started getting the project and housing area. Then what was limited in the rural areas became more prevalent in the city and urban, prostitution, drinking, and all this stuff, and it started destroying the black family. So then it started destroying it and destroying. So now you don't need anymore. Now you don't need a man to take care of your family. Now you don't need the man to do that. So welfare became the husband of the home. When welfare became the husband of the home, who's there to watch the children? No one. Because if she's doing whatever she wanted to do and he's not there being a disciplinary and a spiritual leader, then the family is falling apart. Then these kids start looking for others to raise them. Then that's when you have things. I don't know if you ever heard this group mention called 5%ers. 5%ers are broke rejects of the Nation of Islam. They believe that the black man is God and all this other crazy crap. But then they start looking toward them, and then they start looking toward themselves, start raising themselves. Then now once you have mama in the house by herself, and the daughter, she sees mama doing it, she thinks, okay, then daughter started getting pregnant. Then you have an out of wedlock birth started to rise. Then instead of, I don't know if you ever heard this term, a shotgun wedding, you got a man's daughter pregnant. He came to your house with a preacher and a shotgun. They gonna have a wedding or they gonna have a funeral. It was gonna be one of the two. But you're not gonna let his daughter have a child out of wedlock, which embarrasses the family and put extra hardship on that daughter. If you knock her up, you better lock her up.
That's right.
So it started destroying and eroding the family. Then the church. Then it started getting in the church because now some of these black militant teenagers wanted to do this, quote unquote, as the Black Panther say, revolution. That always made me stupid because I always say, how y'all yelling revolution in Chicago, you yelling revolution in New York, but you won't go to where the Southwest was really bad at, to where Dynamite Dan, that's the man name who blew up the church in Mississippi, blew up and killed those black girls. Okay, that's the type of people that they didn't go down and have a revolution against because they knew what was going on. It was just a bunch of talk. Well, now the church is being overran by these teenagers. Well, they trying to talk to stuff with the old deacons and the old apostles and the old bishops. They were like, no, we have no part of this. MLK said, turn the other cheek. Forgiveness. This is a church. It's forgiveness. Well, what they did was they rebuked those young teenagers with that, but they didn't get it out of them. So what they did was they waited till those old bishops died, the old apostle died, the old deacon died. Then these people started getting into positions of power in the church. They became deacons, became bishops, became pastors. Now they're preaching that black nationalism to where, and you can always tell it because when they talk about something, they say white folk. They want you to, and when they say something about white people, they say white folk. They don't say a white individual. They try to lump all together as to make all look they are the same. Then they start having these pictures, one of these pictures of Jesus Christ being black with dreadlocks. So all this black nationalism became the church. They pushed Jesus out unless they could refer to him as being a black man or something black, so they could associate his color with them, and then they started preaching black nationalism. And so then the Democrat Party, who was feeding, like I said, they feeding the warm poverty. They came in, see what we did? We gave you the Civil Rights Act, and we're trying to do, we're giving the fair housing, we doing all these things. We're trying to make sure you're good like a snake. Like the snake appealed to Eve. And so these pastors start getting these money and start letting these people come into the church and start promoting their ideology, start coming in and start saying, well, vote for this person, vote for this person. But at the time, even Democrats had some things they were pushing off. Now, when gay marriage had came about, because people forget Jesse Jackson was against abortion and gay marriage at one time. He said it was against God. That's when he was, I guess, holding on to whatever church he could.
That's when he was making his love baby. Remember the love child or whatever?
People forgot about that.
That's
in
right.
the 90s, that came out about him having a child with another woman.
That's right. Let me stop you for a second. You were talking about children out of wedlock. This is just one of the most recent statistics from a couple different institutes. You have National Opinion Research out of Chicago. You have Population Research out of Princeton. You also have the Brookings Institute. Now we're talking about the destruction of the black community. Kids born out of wedlock or non-marriages is 73%. that's pretty high.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Holy cow.
7 kids out of 10 are born out of wedlock in the black community. Now, whites and Hispanics whites are 3 out of 10, and then Hispanics are 5 out of 10. But also, if you look, the kids have any further contact with their father, 67% of the kids in the black community don't have any contact with their father.
Wow.
So that's huge. That's huge statistics. That's at one time, the black community had some of the highest marriage rates in the country, back in the 50s, or 40s and 50s. So anyway, I just want to throw that in there while you're talking about that. So.
Yeah, because I'm surprised. You said it's 72%. The last time I checked the numbers, it was 75%. And one poll I saw was 76%.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I was trying to give a very conservative estimate off of something someone can say, oh, that's a very conservative website. So I want to kind of get just a see. This is actually off Don Lemon, CNN Don Lemon. So this tells you how kind of how middle of the road I'm trying to go on this to be conservative. So anyway, go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah. And it started destroying the family. Then when the church started being infested, because I almost could call it what it is, infested by these people coming in, telling how to vote. Then this doctrine of you can't judge coming. Because see, now the doctrine you can't judge, because the church would rebuke you. If you did wrong, rebuke them, because the scriptures tell you rebuke them sharply, and also rebuke them sharply as an example. The other sort of others won't do it. Now everybody wants the love. So now when you have the pastor daughter having a child out of wedlock, the deacon's son, he done got 2-3 pregnant in the church. It's destroying the church. And when you say something, oh no, but now she has to get government assistance. Now that government assistance, who's talking about cutting the government assistance and telling us, hey, you need to go find that boy that got you pregnant and marry him. That's the Republican. Now, they're paying these preachers getting these big salaries. He don't want to have to be forking out that money over for his daughter or for his son. So now he has to protect his gravy train who's giving money, picking up the slack. So now every time a Democrat runs, whatever he supports, he can bring it to he or she supports. He can bring it to the black church and they're supported. People forgot when here in North Carolina we had Amendment 1. Black church turned and they supported Amendment 1 to ban gay marriage. In Proposition 8 in California, the black church was strong in that. But Obama came out and it showed the black church true colors. Whom do you worship? Choose ye this day whom you will serve. And they showed it was Obama. Because when Obama came out for it, majority of the church is like, well, we disagree with him, but, who are we to judge?
Oh, man.
Then it starts changing. Then I did a video when I went undercover in the church, and I said that it was my wife's church. I was showing that how you gonna vote? Say we need to put Jesus back in schools, but you voting for the people who trying to keep Jesus out of school. That don't make no sense. How can you say you want Jesus in your life, but you trying to vote for the people that's trying to keep Jesus out of your life? When you sit there and you show you got a sheep, because at one time people forget you could just go to the voting booths here in North Carolina and just vote straight ticket. Where the Republicans said, well, hold on. You need to learn who you voting for. That big fat lion Jerry Curl Whammy William Barber had a problem with I don't want to get on voter ID because y'all gave me my time. But
preach.
He had a problem with voter ID. And the same thing I say about any person that says voter ID harm minorities are saying black people too stupid to find a DMV, black people too lazy to go help the elderly get an ID, black people still in slavery, so we can't afford a free, not a free, but a free ID. And black people and black people, I forgot their talking point that quick, but it's that you are insulting the African American community.
Right.
This is what you're doing. You're saying black people too stupid to file the DMV, too lazy to help the elderly, still in slavery because we can't take a day off to go get it, and too poor to afford a free ID. This is what you're saying. You are insulting the black community. But William Barber doesn't care. William Barber sees the term as a prostitute for the Democrat Party. The same I say about John Lewis and Elijah Cummings. I've said this before because people always point to their past greatness. And I say this. And same thing I say about John McCain as well. Your past greatness does not exclude you from present day ridicule.
Can you repeat that again for me?
I just felt one more time. Yeah, I just felt the spirit. So go ahead.
Past greatness does not exclude you from present day ridicule.
Come on with it.
Okay, William Barber, for what he did in the past, will ever be great. Because my mom and my dad always said he was slimy. They remember. They said he was slimy. But he tried to uphold the NAACP because the NAACP group did great things. However, this is not the NAACP of the past. This is the NAACP that have sold the black community out to the Democrat Party. That's why whatever the Democrats are for, they are for. They will push it. How can you sit there and support black genocide, which is abortion? But to get back to what I was saying about what's going on here in North Carolina, Roy Cooper, who has sat here and have did nothing. Here in North Carolina at one time, we used to sit there, we would elect a Republican for president, a Democrat for governor, and you didn't have, it wasn't, North Carolina wasn't a partisan state. It was like, hey, whatever, who can do the job?
Right.
Then Roy Cooper wanted to start doing things to be more liberal. And he stole the election from Pat McCrory because they would have never kept them polls open up. People try to say, well, no, it's because Pat McCrory put the tolls down there close to Charlotte. No, it's because Durham polls stayed open to 9:15 and 9:30, and you don't believe they didn't rush voters in there to make sure that Pat McCrory would lose? And now you sitting up there got these people worried about Confederate statues and
bathroom issues.
Durham, a 7-year-old little boy was shot and killed in his car because his mama's boyfriend, not his daddy, but his mama's boyfriend, shot at another man, and another man shot at the blue Explorer, and he shot and killed a 7-year-old boy. You think Confederate statues gonna stop that? You got Bloods and Crips all down there in Charlotte. You remember last year when they had that so-called hands up, don't shoot march down there in Charlotte, where I forget his name, was shot by a black officer.
Keith Lamont, Keith Lamont Scott, just in case our listeners are not familiar with it.
Okay, Keith Scott. Okay. Remember the boy shot another boy in the head during the protest?
That's right. I think they were near the Hornet Stadium.
But you're saying a Confederate statue is going. Tell me how is that going to help the black community?
Right.
But you put out, because I got him one time, and I was mad because I'm a registered Republican. I love my Republican Party, but I got it in the mail saying if you want Republican, they show people being sprayed with hoses and say don't let this happen again. Vote, and start putting all these Democrats to vote for. I'm like, do y'all realize it was Democrats that was doing this?
They were holding hoses.
Yeah.
They're the one holding the hoses.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, we say on the show all the time that common sense is a superpower, and clearly you are a superhero because you have common sense. And I don't understand how we can, as a country, get so upset over a statue that has killed 0 people, but we raise arms and try to tear those down, but we don't do anything for the 60 people that got killed in Chicago last week. Like, I don't understand where that mentality comes from of, it just doesn't make sense.
I'm going to tell you where it come from. Back in the 60s, an old preacher, Bishop S.C. Johnson, he was apostolic, powerful apostolic preacher. He said that little one-eyed demon sitting in your living room, that's where it comes from.
Oh, the TV.
If you look at that television, you look at what's coming on the TVs. The TVs are shaping and molding America, Hollywood. As conservatives, we keep saying California and New York, doesn't determine America,
Right.
but it does, because that's where Hollywood and they call New York Hollywood is at.
Yeah.
It's those type of people and their politics are coming in to where now, when you saw on TV, you saw family. You look at old 50s and 60s shows, Mr. Ed, Hogan Heroes, and stuff like that. It was patriotism. It was, people would talk about God. And then sometimes you didn't see a husband and wife in bed together. You knew how babies were born, but it was just certain things they just tried to keep away. Then as more and more came along, they put more and more on TV to where things were being over-sexualized. And one thing about liberals, they always tell you their plan before they do it. But we just don't pay attention. We always say, that's just crazy. When they was talking about under Bill Clinton, that, they was talking about removing some statues beforehand. They was talking about removing statues when President Obama first came in. If you think close, they was talking about removing some things. And people was like, they're not going to keep going. Remember, because they was talking about how unfair the flag was. They start by, it's like they do test groups to see what they can get away with and what we're paying attention to.
Yeah.
It's like I always told my dad, you ever wonder, I told my dad one time, we're fighting today the hippies from the 60s, but they're like Terminator now. But this is what they did. In the 60s, I told my dad, in the 60s, because he was older than my mom, I told my mom, when you graduated from college, what happened to those hippies and Black Panthers? They became teachers and professors. So they will be able to take their poison and stay at the college and then go to high school and schools and start putting that poison into the children and into the students. To where people was like, you come to the 20-year graduate, the 20-year reunion, because my mom graduated in 63. She come in 83. She was in here tell my dad, that stupid woman is, guess what she doing? Okay, that stupid woman was teaching children. She was putting that in there.
Yeah.
So what we are fighting now are the hippies from the 60s. They became professors. They became journalists.
Politicians.
Their brand of journalism became then they took it to another level. They took it to another level, because people don't remember, they booed Reagan but cheered Mikhail Gorbachev.
Yeah. Well,
they booed Reagan but cheered Mikhail Gorbachev.
Yeah, and I always say it's like feeding the bears, right? The parks say don't feed the bears, because what happens? The bears will go in and say, hey, this is, I like marshmallows, so I'm going to eat, 7 marshmallows. The bear never says at any point, that's enough marshmallows. I think I'm good for the day. I'm just going to go head back in the woods and be okay. No, once you run out of those marshmallows, what happens? He wants more and more and more, and then he comes after you. And that's kind of like the liberal agenda at this point. It's just they keep wanting more and more and more because they never get enough.
And to give you another example, and this just came up in my head, remember when they went out to prayer in school and they said, it was liberals that went out to prayer in school. They said, people shouldn't be forced to pray. No, we just saying you should be able to pray in school. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they started going to Christian monuments. Matter of fact, that's when they started letting you know it was going to start coming out the monuments, because atheists, I'm sorry, people say, well, Republicans, we have a big tent and we need to start letting people in. They never say that to liberals. When the last time you seen a Christian left of the liberals, of the Democrat Party, who's saying they believe in God and stuff like that? They don't. But when they start coming out the monuments to remove the 10 Commandments, then they start coming out the nativity scenes and things like that. They were letting you know they were gearing up for something bigger.
Well, now we can't call it Christmas, right?
Waters.
Yeah. So now we got to call it, the season, the season holiday or whatever. We don't even call it Christmas.
Yeah,
now.
politically correct speech. Ironically, you're talking about the 10 Commandments. Now, there was a Supreme Court judge who sat in Alabama, Roy Moore. He used his own money to put 10 Commandments out in front of his courthouse because he believed that's kind of the foundation of all law, where our moral compass comes from, is those laws. Well, he had a big controversy, and Obama removed him from that Supreme Court, I think, and or he was removed from the Supreme Court there in Alabama, and he decided to run for senator. He just pissed off and decided to run. Well, he actually won last night against a pretty well funded Luther Strange. Yeah, I mean Trump came out and spoke for him and everything like that. Roy Moore annihilated Strange,
Wasn't even close.
so that's how popular that guy is. And also, I guess Alabama was really ticked off for him getting canned, and also the Ten Commandments being removed. So that just kind of speaks to the culture in Alabama that Hollywood doesn't speak for.
Well, and to kind of segue into it, went to the monuments, and now we're seeing that on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah,
on the kneeling thing.
So what is your thoughts on this whole kneeling thing? See, be honest with you, I'm kind of ambiguous to it. 'Cause, I mean, I respect the flag. I believe that the freedoms we have were paid for in blood. A lot of them. I believe that we do respect our country because I've been to Ireland and we're planning on traveling to other countries, and they have national pride. Ireland. Man, they're so proud of their flag, their country. Now they embrace immigrants and things like that, like we have, and we're a huge melting pot. So I don't see nothing wrong with supporting a nation. It's like supporting your team. There's nothing wrong with it. You want to succeed. So I get that, and I also do respect the people's right to protest. But also the people that protest have to realize that guess what? We're consumers. We don't have to consume the goods anymore. So if we want to take $1 out of their pocket, we don't go buy tickets. So. Tell me your thoughts on this whole kneeling thing.
But my feeling on the kneeling, it started when those idiots from St. Louis Rams, because an idiot, if you look at the definition, it's still a very, very stupid person. They ran out on and with their hands up, don't shoot because of a lie that liberals told because they were trying to paint white, because they went out the police officers trying to say because they needed black people to get out and vote. People don't understand when they start stirring a racist pot like that, what they're trying to do is get blacks to turn out and vote. That's all it is. But Michael Brown supposed to have been running away from the police, which to me itself says, why do you think it's okay to start running away from a police officer? What are you teaching kids? But that's another story at another time. But he sat there and they said that he was on the ground. He was shot with his hands up, which was a lie. The autopsy said it was a lie. The Attorney General Holder, instead of saying this happened and stop, he had to sit there and brush over it, as my mama said, don't beat around the bush. Say what happened. Right. Don't beat around the bush. Say what happened. He didn't. He said, well, at this time with the death of Darren Wilson, we found he did not violate Michael Brown's civil rights. So in other words, but it doesn't mean nothing wrong didn't happen. But he was stuttering, and I'm like, stop beating around the bush. What? So in other words, the man didn't do anything wrong with an autopsy. Then they talked to the witnesses. The witnesses were blacks in the community, and they said they saw Michael Brown trying to punch Officer Darren Wilson, trying to take his gun, and he was sitting up there pounding and pounding. And when Officer Darren Wilson defended himself to shoot him, he ran away, and his friend told a lie. His friend didn't get charged like April Mangum here in North Carolina about the Duke lacrosse case, which she should have been charged, but that's another story, another time. I hate to get off topic, but that's what happened. Then, now Colin Kaepernick. In the Super Bowl against the Ravens, Ray Lewis last year, when the lights came back on, he started throwing the football good. Now, before then, he couldn't hit the broad side of the USS North Carolina, standing from the dock.
If I understand this correctly, the lights went off. You're saying aliens gave him superpowers to now throw a ball. Is that what happened?
No, what it is when you got momentum. And you suddenly stop and you're braking. If you've been getting beat, it gives you okay, let me catch my breath. Okay, we're chasing him. And then he came out and he started playing decently. And they still lost, but he was playing decent. Then the next season, he couldn't hit the broadside of the USS North Carolina. He couldn't hit the broadside of a battleship. And he was standing. right there where you get your memorabilia when you leave the USS North Carolina, because my daughter, she loves the big ship. She loves going to Wilmington. He could hit the broadside of the ship standing 10 feet away. Then he all of a sudden wants to start kneeling down because he read the whole national anthem, and he said it was a part in there where they was talking about killing, or when he was talking about shooting blacks. No, what they was talking about was when the British tried to use black soldiers to attack the Americans, they shot them. What do you expect? It don't matter your nationality that attacks America, but if you attack America, you're going to be defeated, whether or not you white, black, Latino, Asian, whatever color. This is what happened. So Francis Scott Key wrote that in there. He wrote what happened. So he read that and said, oh, it's this. To distract that he was getting cut. He wasn't good enough. They had sacked him. They didn't sack him before he did the kneeling. They sacked him way before he did the kneeling. So now he wanted to throw all this police brutality in. And then, oh my God, that ignorance was on display at the Democratic National Convention when they sat there. One of the most insulting things I heard them say was, no black mother should have to worry about when she send her child out. Will he return home? Because, you know, you have to teach him how to respond to police. Black mothers don't worry about the police. They worry about their son being shot by a gang member in the community who don't like that he's wearing a Duke Blue Devil shirt in the Blood neighborhood, or he's wearing an NC State hoodie in the Crip neighborhood. So they shoot him, they beat him up for disrespecting the set. So this is what's going on, because many black people in the black community live up under almost ISIS-type living because the gangs are so bad, the gangs do so much terrorism in the community that it's like a second country. They can't wait to get out of it. So when these Democrats show these little things, oh, she worried about her son leaving. It was like, are you kidding me? And then he stood there and started kneeling. Then they start coming back in. Then this year they started doing it. And so President Trump said, you know what, enough's enough. Because you pulled this in the 1980s, your butt would have been thrown out of the NFL. If you people who support you, people who advertise and stuff would have left.
Yeah, that's true.
So now all of a sudden it's welcome because we are being conditioned to accept wrong. We are being conditioned to accept being unpatriotic. Because think about this: when the last time you seen a show on TV that celebrates the U.S. military, a good U.S. military show about World War I or World War II, the Civil War, Vietnam? When the last time you seen a show about that?
I think it was Last Man Standing. It got canceled.
No, I know what you're saying, though. There's every once in a while there's documentaries and stuff like that. Well, it depends on which one you want. Ken Burns is he makes some horrible documentaries. He villainizes, but I know what you're saying. There's not a lot of those out there. So
and the other thing, the other thing too about Colin Kaepernick, and people are saying this as well, that it's really his girlfriend. Like, he got a new girlfriend, and that kind of pushed him to kind of do all this stuff. And I almost kind of believe it, because women really control us men anyway, right? They tell us what to do.
A little context for our listeners. I think she was a Nation of Islam black militant.
Yep.
And so she kind of took over Kaepernick's, basically, like I said.
Yeah, just kind of, hey, baby, I think you should, and then he's like, yes, ma'am, and then that's how it kind of went down.
Yeah, that's right.
I think she gave him an excuse for his sorry play, and he ran along with it. And now I've seen her. She's beautiful and she's cute. But you know what? One thing about being a millionaire, you can travel the world. You can travel to Brazil, which I'm not trying to be funny, but Brazilian women are beautiful.
Hey,
you can travel to Germany. German women are beautiful. You can travel to China. Chinese women are beautiful. So that can't be the excuse. It was because he needed an excuse, because he wanted to duck responsibility of whatever he was doing was not working as a quarterback. Maybe he wasn't doing the snaps. Maybe he wasn't putting the work in. And so it became a convenient excuse. And now what ended up happening, somebody, a black nationalist or the media, like Don Lemon, starts sitting up there saying, "Oh, we got the stick bomb. We got the stick bomb." Like, and that's one thing that's so stupid in the black community. It makes me sick. If one do something, as they say, they always say, you got to back him up. No, you don't have to back him up, because tell me the difference. If you backing somebody because they're black, compared to you backing somebody because they're white.
Right.
Tell me the difference. That's still racism. Racism is racism, whether or not it's black racism or white racism. And I said this. I said, so many of you sit here and said that, white people, so some white people in the 60s didn't speak up when they saw horrific atrocities happening. What do you call black people now doing the same thing when they see atrocities happen? They got this rule called no snitching, or they won't speak out and call other blacks out for being wrong. Tell me the difference. There is no difference.
Right.
But you just want this victimhood, and you want to shuck and jive the responsibility of what you're doing. But that's what happened to Colin Kaepernick. He just wanted to shuck and jive the responsibility, and then of course he started getting people to support him, Then President Obama, and to me personally, President Obama not speaking out and sitting up there giving these protests, because he invited Black Lives Matter to the White House. He started inviting black nationalists and black racists to the White House. So now these people with this mentality in the football, they're all around. So now they're kneeling. And LeBron James, oh my God, he just embarrassed himself. Did you read his tweets? LeBron James, he want to pick at people and say that Trump supporters are uneducated. He need to get somebody to write his tweets. Because did I finish college? No. But I know for a fact when I talk, I tell people quick, I'm going to have some broken English. Guess what? That's just the way I am. I just can't help it.
Sure.
But don't sit there. I don't call nobody uneducated. I don't call them that. I don't throw that insult out there. Why? Because I know there's some flaws in the way in my grammar. I know some flaws in the way I write and type. Sometimes because my wife, she's getting her doctor's degree, so I have to get my wife sometimes to look over my stuff before if I'm writing the paper, I'm writing something, I get her to overlook it so she can catch my grammatical errors.
I do the same
but
thing.
LeBron,
The grocery list.
But LeBron called Trump supporters uneducated. So now you have all the. Remember when Trayvon Martin was shot? Let's go about a little bit back when he was playing for the Miami Heat, and they all stood out there hoods and tried to say the reason why George Zimmerman followed and did Trayvon Martin was because he black. And then Barack Obama came out there and stuck his nose in it and said if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon. In other words, Trayvon could have been me. No, Trayvon couldn't have been you because you weren't raised by Trayvon parents. You weren't raised by Trayvon mama. Because if you was, your grandmother would have beat you if you got kicked out of school for carrying things that you were breaking the house for. Because people forget, Trayvon Martin was over his daddy's girlfriend's house because he had been kicked out of school for weed. So when you hear Barack Obama sit there and say that he could have been Trayvon, no, because Barack Obama as a teenager would have acted different. If he would have saw George Zimmerman, number one, he would have turned around and jumped on George Zimmerman, turned around and followed Trayvon Martin. Barack Obama went to his grandparents' house and said, hey, it's a man out there following. And his granddaddy, who was a World War II veteran, would have stepped outside and said, excuse me, is there a problem? You following my son, my grandson? Oh, no, sir, it's new in the neighborhood. So when you hear him make that lie, then everybody's in NBC who was caught editing the tapes on George Zimmerman.
Yep.
See, people keep saying he saw somebody black. No, that's edited. They asked him what was the color of the person.
Yeah.
So when they asked him, and they told him, no, we don't need you to do that. When they say, okay, well, I'm fine. Okay, no, we don't get you to do that. He started walking back toward his truck. That's why Eric Holder, now I got his full name, Eric Holder, said that Trayvon Martin's civil rights wasn't violated because he couldn't go out there and tell a lie because he had the evidence right there. So when that happened, he jumped on and tried to beat George Zimmerman's head in the ground. She got shot. That was in self-defense. Well, guess what? the Miami Hurricanes all stood out there in sports, with their hoodies on to show solidarity with Trayvon, but it wasn't true. It was based on a lie.
Right.
Same thing with hands up, don't shoot, and now it's done came into kneeling. This is all perpetrated on a lie that police are coming out here and they're killing black men. They're just systematically targeting black men. But if you look at the numbers, look at not what that idiot from Georgetown, the Georgetown professor Ellis sat out there and talked about. Well, I did a study, and the study says no. You give me the FBI numbers. The FBI numbers show you white men between the ages of, I want to say, 18 to 26 are most likely to be shot, 5 times more likely to be shot by a police officer than a black male.
Come on with
See,
it.
they've got the studies that show white men get shot more. So where does this narrative come from that the police are out here killing black men? They need votes. They need to get people angry. They need to get polls turnout, because ever since Barack Obama won election in 2010, the midterm election, they have lost over 1,000 seats nationwide, and they needed something to get people back, because they saw that out of midterms, black people don't turn out and vote. They'll vote for Barack Obama.
Yeah.
They're not turning out and vote because it wasn't decided. So they needed something to scare African Americans and bring them forward. So this kneeling thing is nothing more than a get out and drive effort from the Democrat Party, and they're tearing the NFL apart.
Yeah. Well, they timed it pretty poorly because the election's not until another 3 more years. But oh well.
Well, American conscience, they'll probably forget about it too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. We'll forget about it after this stops. But I mean, it's.
Let me tell you your insight, man. in opinion, I mean,
right.
And also just the courage to say it. This has nothing to do with on topic, but you personally, I would love to see the love letters that you get from people that disagree with you.
Oh, house nigga coon. Oh, you the old house nigga, what you just shucking and driving for white folk. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Now, like I said, I still got some struggles I'm dealing with. So turn the other cheek. Ain't in there yet. So I will sometimes go to people's page, and I'm like, how you gonna sit there and tell me I'm trying to be white and you got blonde hair? I ain't seen no Negroes with no blonde hair. Whoa, where you born at? I'm trying. Where your ancestry at?
Brazil.
Then I'm talking about the way you think. I'm talking about the way you look. What's wrong with your black natural hair? What's wrong with? Then next thing you know, oh, F you, blah, 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 blah. No, thank you. I'm married. And besides, if I'm going to cheat, if I'm going to mess up and I'm going to cheat, it's going to be with something that is going to look worth it, not something like you that I can go buy $5 up the block off from the crack stuff.
That's right.
No, and I cut them and block them. That's what I do. That's what I do. I don't allow liberal, and I hate to say it like this, liberal trash to come on my page, harass the people, the people who follow my page and things like that. I don't allow them to come and harass them, because too many conservative and Republican pages, they allow the trolls to come up there and harass people, and people don't feel they have a right to speak. And I don't know if you saw my video last night. It was, and one of our topic was Jamal, my black friend, calling me racist. And I addressed that, and I really addressed that. So I want to make sure when people come to my page, or my YouTube page or my Twitter page, you can come and you don't have to worry about no daggone troll, someone trying to call you racist, trying to insult you. Ask me, I can get over it. I'm gonna come back, but you, oh God, I done heard so many, and blah blah blah. It don't bother me no more.
Yeah.
It really don't, because people, my mom and dad divorced. I remember a lady told my mom, because we grew up in an apartment complex. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was good. They were trying to fix it up, but she called because my mother worked. My mother had her bachelor's degree. She was a nurse, but then she went on and got her teacher's license and everything. So my mother was a manager. She was for a medical device supply store. And my mom used to leave every morning with her briefcase, nice dress skirt suit. And they told my mom, this white lady, not white lady, black lady, she told my mom, she was like, you trying to look like white folk. My mama looked at her, and now my mom fit class of 1963 in Booker T. Washington in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, flipped over the tables because they were tired of getting school tired of getting food from Rocky Mount Senior High because it was still segregated. They was getting the food they won't eat. So they would send it to Booker T. Washington all black high school. So they got tired of it. So my mom, she looked at her and she said, let me tell you something. Just because you are uneducated and you have no goals, don't you dare try to associate success with white and failure with black, and walked away from her and left her there looking stupid. And it was at that moment I said, wow, look at my mama. Now my daddy, son of a bishop, would have just straight cussed out. I ain't gonna lie, you know what they say about preacher kids.
Yeah.
My daddy was the youngest, and he was and he was in the military and everything. Even though, and my older uncle was, so the uncles were well, but my dad still had that tongue. He still had a problem with that tongue. But my mom showed professionalism all the way up to the day she died. I took her up to the day she died. My mom always tried to let people know about being successful, that not a prideful way, but I am somebody. And what's going on now, that's why they doing the kneel down, because they trying to say that, oh, whoa, we victims, instead of pointing the problem and looking at the real problem is responsibility of the ones at you. Why are you sitting up here telling me I should be worried of the police? The police shot a boy who was a drug dealer. He was pointing a gun. Why should I be mad? Like they did up in Milwaukee. Like Scott, he pointed a gun at the police. Why are you trying to tell me now that the police, that some study says that blacks are shot quicker than whites? Who they're sitting up there taking a time and say, all right, ready, set, shoot. Who's doing that? Who's doing that?
Yeah.
Nobody. Nobody's doing that.
Well, also, if the FBI just rolled out the top 10 most dangerous cities in America, of course, all of them are Democrat controlled.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of throw that as a side note. Keep that in mind.
Sure.
But also, Baltimore has been ranked violent under Democrat leadership. Also, the cops the chief of police is black, the mayor is black, and remember Freddie Gray, he was killed by he died in the hands of 6 other men, but they got it all acquitted. So this whole narrative of it's especially the white cops, or if it's quote unquote the Uncle Tom of the cops, because they've been villainized. So it's just frustrating for us to sit on the sidelines a lot of times when we're trying to, we're Christians also. We make no bones about that, and trying to interject, and people keep putting a hand up just because we don't want you in our community because you're associated with white privilege or supremacy or whatever. And I just don't get it. We're trying to love. And anyway, a lot of these towns are under liberal control, but also there are high rates of crime. I mean, these places need policing. So
right. Well, and look at the 2A laws, like gun control. Chicago, Baltimore, L.A., Detroit, really bad gun laws. Yeah. Just saying. I guess what's frustrating for me, Jamal, and maybe you can shed some light on it, is if we say these things, we're labeled bigoted, racist, so on and so forth, because we're trying to present facts. And at some point in our country, and maybe you can address this as well, like we went from factual to, well, I feel like, whatever the case may be. Well, I feel like that this is right, instead of it actually being resolved by facts. I mean, if we say these things, we're racist, we're awful white men that are white supremacists. Like that's, that in itself is being racist. And I think that you mentioned earlier, like black racism. We don't hear about that. Like why doesn't that make the news? Because
it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative of black people are victims, we still victims, and it doesn't. And if it did, if they could attack that victimhood, the Democrat Party would lose a heavy voting base. That's why if you look at a lot of black Republicans, they work hard. They are successful. Same thing, I might say a lot of Democrats, however, they need that victimhood. They need that victimhood of the black community to keep it separate. And let me tell you this, that people say, how do you expect to get it to change? Let me go to the book. I want to say Exodus. I want to go to the book of Exodus.
Okay.
No, or Deuteronomy. Maybe Deuteronomy. Right now, it's slipping my tongue, slipping my mind. But when they went into that land and the report came back, Joshua came back and said, we can take them. The other one said no.
Yeah.
God said this generation will not enter the promised land.
Yeah.
He said that generation had to go.
Mm.
And that's what's happening. You have a generation that is steady pushing this stuff until you have to train up the youth. That's how Democrats do. They don't attack the old. They don't go after the older minds. They go after the younger minds with that impression. That's why if you look at how rap music started. Rap music, it started telling a story. Then it started, with a little party. Then it started getting gangster. Now you have the rappers. You can't tell if they male or female. Now they down to homosexuality that came into rap music now. You having kids who thinking it's good to look like a bull dagger. Or to look like a sweetie pie. You a man, you wearing a dress, you ain't Irish, you ain't Scottish. That's not if it ain't a kilt, you shouldn't have it on. But
Yeah.
this generation, it's the same way God recognized that this certain generation, because now remember, this is a generation that kept doing dumb stuff. After he brought them out of the land of Israel, out of Egypt, they sat there, they convinced Aaron to do a golden calf.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out there and said, I just put the gold in there and the calf came out. Really, Aaron? Are you serious? But this is the generation that was, Moses came down from Mount Sinai, and they was dancing, they was partying. And if you notice, God did not care. He had just brought them out of slavery. He opened up the ground and sucked them in.
Yeah.
He sat there, he sent snakes among them. He sat there and they got sick from eating the manna. This is the generation that finally made Moses take the stick. Instead of tapping, he struck it. Instead of speaking and saying, let it go, he struck it.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't enter in. This was that hard-headed, stiff-necked generation. Now you're dealing with the hard-headed, stiff-necked generation that it must take spiritual leaders first. You must get back to the spiritual leaders, those old-fashioned preachers that call sin out.
Yep.
As for white speaking toward the truth is the truth, regardless of what color say it. If you are white and you tell the truth, it's still the truth. If you are white and you tell me that the reward for my sin is hell, and somebody black telling me, yeah, you don't care, God don't mind. Who right and who wrong? The white person. Now, if I'm so bigoted or hell-ridden, as my pastor would say, hell-ridden, that I see your color more than I see the word of God, then sometimes, guess what? The Bible, the scripture says hell enlarges itself. So you may be the one that enlarges itself for. So people just got to tell the truth. Like I said last night, don't ever stop telling the truth. I don't care. Tell them to their face you don't care, and you're still going to speak the truth. Long as they got whites to where they won't speak. Or they're offended, they're afraid to speak, they win. But when they start, and see, the thing about President Trump, it scares them. I must get back to President Trump. He's giving people the encouragement to say, you screwed up. This is your problem now. Deal with it. They don't want to hear that.
Right.
See, that's how people talk in the 80s and in the 70s. See, they talk like that. They told you they don't care. Get your butt up and work. Get your butt up and do something. Now, I don't want to say that. It sounds racist. I don't want them to think I'm racist. Well, what, you telling the truth? Yeah, so why you worried about it?
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Truth doesn't have a race,
Well, and truth sets you free, right? And I'll say this, that I think that this is just it's a bigger picture than just race. And I've said this to Mojo and said it on the show. Like, I think it's a male issue in the church that we're not raising up men that will have enough guts to say that. You look, and here's the example. Like, even if you look at the NFL, I think NFL guys, big, tough, burly, guys that have passion and they're driven or whatever. It takes something like this to get them on their knees that quickly, because they're that shallow and they're not able to stand up for themselves.
Right.
And we're not teaching men how to be men. And we're not, as a country, putting God in the middle of that and making them leaders in the spiritual home and anywhere else. We're just, whatever makes you feel good, go for it. And we're not training people up like they should be, and that's on us.
Well, also, I think President Trump. I mean, there's some things I disagree with him on. A lot of things I agree with him on. I'm sure you can say the same thing, Jamal and Biggin. But I got to give him credit. His troll level on being on Twitter, I mean, is amazing. That dude can rile up anyone in probably 2 seconds. I mean, he is just. His troll level's 1,000% or something like that. So
Jamal, I think my favorite thing out of him was when he called Kim Jong Rocket Man. That still owns me today.
Oh yeah. See, here's the thing. Like I get back to it. In the 80s, people were saying things. If you was lazy, they would say that. If you did something stupid, they would say that. You know, I heard the term "dumb as a hair comb." Or he's gonna win the Box of Rocks. He win the award. What award? The Box of Rocks award.
Yeah.
Like Box of Rocks. Yeah, because he dumber than a box of rocks.
Yeah, we say call your nuts. Like, I mean, you got to call your nut. Like, you're being a nut, you got to call him.
And you don't. The church when the church one has to dump out ideology other than the scriptures. If it's not the scriptures. And now I must remember scripture. One thing my pastor say, I must. If you gonna quote a scripture, try your best to be it or say, I don't know where it's at. But one thing about the scriptures must come back. It always said one time men would not endure sound doctrine; they will have itching ears. It's itching ear preachers in the pulpit. That's why people want to hear Jesus wants you with a Cadillac, God wants you with a house instead of God wants you home. And people don't. Well, here's the thing: people don't want to say it because they know if they say it, one of their family members, one of their loved ones,
themselves,
is the one
Jamal,
that's going to be lost.
Themselves, they don't want to say it because it'll come back
on
them.
Themselves.
Yeah.
I got a question. Should have been an opening question, but what inspired you to do the Mind of Jamal? Sorry. Well, what inspired you to kick this off? Because I mean, you were an instant success. I mean, you hit the stage like a fireball. So one day you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're on the Facebooks. So kind of
what happened was it's a show here in Raleigh Durham, North Carolina called we have Radio Rush where Rush Limbaugh come in 106.1.
Sure.
And 106.1 we have Radio Rush, and in the morning we have KCO Day morning show. He used to have a woman named Casey and Carmen, but Casey ended up taking over because Carmen left in the back problems. And I was calling in, and the guy couldn't pronounce my name, which is Jamal. He couldn't pronounce it, so he was like, just say Jamal. Ross. And I'm like, okay, well, I just say Jamal. Well, I kept calling in, and everybody turned around would call in and speak on various subjects. Then Ross was like, you know what? You ought to put yourself on video. I said, man, Ross, ain't nobody want to hear me. And Ross was like, man, just try, because I always look at myself, JT and Mr. Brand. I look at myself as this. You're looking at somebody who's screwed up in the past. I make no bones about it. I don't sit here and say, oh, no, I screwed up. Had a good mother, good father. I didn't do way crazy, but I did enough to where I had to pay for it, scrape on my belly to get back to the top. God blessed me with a family. I always wanted children. I lost it. I was remarried and divorced. And I'm in that sin because one thing my pastor preaches against remarriage and divorce. I'm in that sin because my ex-wife left me in my lowest time. And I met my wife. I always wanted children. And when God didn't give me anything until I was able to mentally and spiritually handle it. Because if I knew if God would have gave me children, some people have to understand, I thank God for telling me no. Because if he would have gave me what I wanted back in the 90s and all when I first got in the Army and everything, I would have ruined my children. They would have been one of these little fudge little hoopers out here because based on my ex-wife and how her family is, I'm not trying to say because it's my ex-wife and her family, they would have been raised that way. So what God did was he made me sit down, realize the things I have done, look back on my past, the people who I had hurt, my mom, and the way things I had done things, and made me say, whoa, calm down. And then when I started going, and it happened when I started going to church, start praying, because I was incarcerated one time. I was incarcerated one time. And
part of your redemption story.
So what?
That says part of your redemption story. So
yeah. So when I sat there and realized and said, I put myself here. This is my fault. And when I lost everybody, my mama and my daddy and my pop was there waiting for me and said, we got you. I had to walk around Rocky Mountain to find a job, but I got one. So then I started noticing, then you start hearing, man, these white folks, man, look at this, man, these white folks. I said, man, I don't want to hear nothing about no daggone white folk, man. That's that, excuse my tongue, man, that's that nigga fault right there. I don't want to hear nothing about no white folk. And that's what I would say. Then I started noticing, well, hold up, sit back. Look at the people whom you around. And I started looking, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got up under a firebrand pastor, Apostle Geno Jennings out of Philadelphia, who told us the truth. You're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. This is the results of the sin. If this is what's going on, I'm here to train and make men of God.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got up under that, I started looking at myself. So when I walk up on the job, and you hear somebody say, man, the white folk fired me because they don't like me. Didn't you fail the piss test 3 times? Yeah. So why are you crying? The man gave you 3 chances.
Yeah.
Won't you late every day? So then I started noticing, hold up. Is there racism out there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But stop lying. Stop using it. Stop lying about what's out there when it's not. So as I stepped going on, then I started speaking out. I was like, you know what? Wow. Y'all been telling black folk this for this many years, but it's been y'all. I'll never forget when we was out there, we was teenagers, the Democrats, NAACP, would come see us standing out there. Someone was out there selling drugs, out there doing that. Someone, but they would tell us to go to the polls and vote, not get off the block because you hurt and killing young people. That's what made me despise Democrats and despise the NAACP. When they did that and gave us who to vote for, but you're not going to sit out there and tell who to stop destroying, killing your own people. So you selling drugs, you're killing your own people, but you're going to blame it on white people because you hear the excuse, well, black people don't have planes and boats to bring it in, so why are you selling it? If you saying black people don't have the boats and the planes to bring it in, why are you selling it? And then as I started going on, I started speaking out because I started hearing people calling in the KCO Day show because I listened to it because I love Rush Limbaugh. I always listen to Rush Limbaugh, because Rush was a straight, honest person. I liked it. Rush Limbaugh reminded me of my godfather. He's a straight up, honest guy. With my dad, he's a white guy, straight up honest. So I like, wow, Rush sound like him. So damn, I'm still sound like my dad too as well.
Yeah.
So when I started calling in, Ross is saying, Jamal, let's put yourself a video, man. Just try. I said, you know what? Nobody gonna want to hear me. I said, because number one, people like to do what they do. People don't like to hear that anymore. Man, just try. And I tried it. I started speaking during I had my own page. Then I was doing little memes and just saying things. Then I started doing a video. My first video, I was sitting on top of the roof of a 3-story house, installing a flute pipe. And I pointed a camera at myself and I said, hi, y'all, this is Jamal. I'm calling KCO show, blah, blah, blah. And I started talking. And I was nervous my first time. Then I just kept going. Then I was like, then somebody told me who saw my video who knew my mom. And they was like, with my mom that passed, like, you shouldn't be doing the videos. You don't sound right. You didn't even finish college. Oh my God, if your mama was alive, hearing you talk like that. And one thing about me, like I say, the Lord, and then it's dealing with me on my anger. I told him, I said, don't you never bring my mama up in politics, because if you tell the truth, you knackerhead strumpet. And with women like you, when my mama was sick, or didn't come see my mama, so don't you say a word about my mama. And don't you say a word about me doing anything, because obviously you don't like her. Oh, that's right. How many children had your daughter had?
Uh-oh.
By how many different boys?
Come on.
And walked away and left us there standing there. And that's when I started speaking out, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing that black folk is victims and can't get nowhere, when I'm sitting here watching us destroy ourselves and people are getting rich off it. People are getting votes off it, and it's keeping on going. Look at Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago, they think it's funny to call it Chirac. Chirac. This is funny. And then you have the people bragging about it and talking about it. So I say, you know what? It got to stop. If people don't like me, oh well. I don't care if people like me or not. I'm just going to tell the truth. And I said I'm going to do it. And I'm going to tell the truth.
Wow. And so now it's 89,000 Facebook followers now, and then you're still growing, man.
Yeah.
You're crushing it.
Like I said, I just tell the truth, and I look at things, and I guess, like I said, I grew up. My godfather was white. He was a friend of my dad. I know my dad years in the military. My mom, she was well educated, so I was able to. My mom. We go to people's houses when she was talking business, or they say invite us over for lunch, invite us over for a cookout. You can't tell me all white people racist because I've had people. When we grew up. One thing my mom and my dad could not stand. When you go to somebody's house and you ask for something to eat, or you because my dad said make it look like you ain't ate. So he had that evil Darth Vader eye, like Darth Vader coming with the lightsaber to slice you in half type eye, like, oh, you want a snack? And he'll look, and you like, no, ma'am, I'm good. And my dad could not stand for nobody to tell us, you don't have to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am to me, because that's how I was raised. You say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, and no, sir. My dad said if they were over 18, you say yes, sir, and you say no, sir. You say yes, ma'am, and you say no, ma'am. And I tested the water. I was a hard head when I tested the water. Later was like, you don't have to say no, ma'am. You don't touch you. I said, okay, my mama slapped me right there. What did I tell you? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, my mama said, I'm not raising one of these little street boys. I'm raising a young man with respect. My dad said, you better believe it.
Jamal, we were out to dinner the other day with me and Mojo and my wife, and then there was a person that I didn't know the gender, but you know what it is, but they're dressed not like that gender, and I said yes, ma'am, and then my wife gave me the stare down like none other, because that's just natural for me to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and she gave me a look like you know better than that, and I was like, I was raised that way. Oh, it's crazy.
I tell my wife, yes, ma'am.
Well,
because I'm scared of her. She's older than me, too.
I got backfire on that. I tried to be nice. Look at that.
Well, hey, man, we know this is a weeknight and you got to work tomorrow, so we don't want to keep you any longer, but hey.
And I thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to speak, because I always tell people, I thank y'all for listening and watching me, because y'all the people that say, hey, thank you. And it encouraged me to keep speaking. So I thank y'all for saying, hey, Jamal, do you mind doing the show? Sure, no problem. I'm no big person. I'm just Jamal. I'm Jamal. That's it. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. That's all I can do. But I thank y'all guys for having me.
No, but hey, man, and right now in this culture, we need men of action and culture, or men of action and courage. Yeah. And you're leading the forefront, man. So you've inspired me to not squash my feelings anymore, and try to not self-censorship as much. So I really appreciate that. So anyway, Jamal, thanks for coming on tonight, and we'll let you get back to your family.
Thanks, man.
All right. God bless.
You too, man.
You too.
Once again, want to thank Jamal from Mind of Jamal coming on. Once you can go to his YouTube and also the Facebook, Mind of Jamal, MIND of Jamal, JAMAL. I'm sure you can go to YouTube, subscribe to his channel, and also like his Facebook page, because he's constantly updating and putting funny memes, but also his videos. I'm sure there'll be some different opinions on stuff we all have, just because that's human nature. Yeah, makes it interesting. So, but anyway, check it out. As always, please go to iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Subscribe. Give us a like on there. Also review our our station on there. And please give us a review on positive episodes. Share those episodes with your friends and family. Share the ones you don't like. Hey, there's no bad thing, or there's no bad publicity. Listen,
if you want to just stir up controversy during like Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff, just start sharing our stuff and just have some fun with that.
That, or if there's a Thanksgiving you don't like, go ahead and share it ahead of time, and maybe you don't have to get in.
Sure.
You don't have to be invited. But also go to our Facebook at Southern Fried Philosophy, our website, southernfriedphilosophy.com. Also, the Twitters and the Instagram at SFP Radio, and also our YouTube.
There he goes. He got it.
SFP Radio.
As always, guys, keep looking up.